I'm Laura Ingraham. Thanks for joining us. This is the Ingraham Angle from Washington tonight. Tucker Carlson. Wow, he's staying up late. Are you kidding me? Yeah, he's going to be here. He's going to reveal what he says is the single biggest change in the way Americans may have to start living. But first, fake versus real. That's the focus of tonight's angle. All right, I decided on Friday night that it's time to simplify things for everyone. You're all busy out there, right? I'm going to simplify it. The Democrats are cratering, and yet they want everyone to believe that the opposite is true as we approach the midterms. So for the past month, all we've heard about is Joe's supposed midterm momentum, that he's turned the corner after a rocky summer. Of course, the opposite is actually true. In fact, Reuters has Biden's approval rating at a pathetic 39%. Even so, Reuters spins it to attack Trump somehow. You see how it works, right? Democrats have zero accomplishments to point to. All they have are these lame attempts at messaging their failures. But by every measure, things are getting worse in America. But to Joe's goons, that just means that they have to throw more dirt into the wind, hoping you won't see through the haze. But the Angle, don't worry, is here to help you differentiate the real issues facing America from the fake ones that the left is raising. First, Republicans are anti-democracy.
It's clear which way the new MAGA Republicans are. They're extreme, and democracy is really at stake.
We all saw that day, this insurrection, this mob that came to attack our democracy.
Our democracy is at risk today.
False, pathetic, come on. Look at Florida. They overhauled their entire voting system after 2000. They made big changes even after 2020. Voters have reasons now to actually trust the system in Florida. And the last time I checked, they actually count the votes on election night. What a novel concept. So is democracy, in peril in Florida? No, of course not. But their next fake is that extremism and fascism are on the rise.
You can look at any number of different metrics. Right-wing extremism is on the rise.
There is no question that extremism is on the rise in this country, and it poses a very real national security threat.
This is ultra-nationalism. This is fascism, and it's rising in America.
False. There is not a single person at the White House, at the DNC, or at the Washington Post who actually believes that if Republicans win in 2022 or 2024, we'll no longer have elections. Okay? That it's fascism time in the United States. It's extremism run amok. And if you believe any of that, you're just a sucker. What about the next fake? That somehow conservative policies are anti-women.
And Republicans have been so scary in what they're talking about, taking away women's right to vote, women's right to choose.
Women's rights in general are clearly under attack throughout the United States.
The ensuing attacks on women's fundamental rights from elected Republicans in Congress.
False, really? Women are going to be locked in the kitchen wearing aprons if the GOP wins? You think I'd be for that movement? I don't even cook well enough to do that, okay? I'm not going to be back in the kitchen. It's stupid. Meanwhile, in Democrat strongholds, women can't even go out jogging without worrying about being assaulted. And how are soaring energy costs that the Democrats have caused good for women? Those voluntary blackouts in California, somehow that's good for women living alone? Oh, and our high food prices? Oh, those must be great for women by their calculus. The fact is, strong women are on the rise throughout the Republican Party, including minority women. There's newly elected Texas Congresswoman Maya Flores. Also in Texas, there's Monica de la Cruz and Cassie Garcia. In Indiana, Air Force vet Jennifer Ruth Green is vying for a House seat that last saw a Republican win in 1928. How about Michigan? Tudor Dixon, a phenomenal candidate running to unseat Governor Gretchen Whitmer. She's down just 8 points in the latest average. She should be the next governor. But remember, the left doesn't even consider any of those women, certainly women who believe in populism or America First policies, to even be legitimate women at all. And of course, there's the ultimate fake, that Republicans are racist at heart.
The Republican Party just won't reject racism.
What the Republican Party right now stands for is white nationalist racism.
As we head into the midterms, Republicans can be proud of racism.
Another vicious smear with zero evidence. In fact, if there's racism on the rise in the United States, it's found in liberal policies that disproportionately harm minorities. A Bank of America research report found that inflation shock of 2021 disproportionately affected African Americans, Hispanic, and Latino communities. And it's not just the economy. Day after day, Democrats are ignoring the nightmarish problems facing Americans, which, of course, the left-wing policies themselves created. Like how government-run schools are failing our kids. COVID lockdowns, which Democrat mayors and governors embraced, have led to plummeting test scores. And in Washington, D.C., Mayor Muriel Bowser's COVID vax mandate is going to prevent about 40% of black students from even entering the classroom when they start enforcing the mandate. It's disgusting. And when students aren't falling behind in academics, they're being indoctrinated by sex and gender radicals.
Gay, 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 gay.
So yes, I do dress up as Spider-Man sometimes, but it's the username. This is the only one that actually does make sense because this is my daddy.
The fact is, if you live in a Democrat-run area, your public schools are in shambles. They treat parents as the enemies and far-left activists as the brave heroes trying to thwart the parents. So I'm going to make a prediction. Within the decade, there will be a huge exodus of Christian families from public schools. It's just going to happen. And another real issue versus all their fakes, the young thugs who are now feeling empowered by Democrat policies to go on racist rampages and killing sprees.
Shit out. I don't wag shit on camera. I pull up and do this shit, man. I don't do it. What them niggas say, no faking. No faking. Hear me? This shit for real. On my mama, Kate, all you think I'm playing, Kate, I'm for sure this shit real. This shit so real, man, guy.
Then there were two wannabe copycats, also in Memphis, brazenly proclaiming their own racist intent to kill a white old lady while her grandkids are in the car. So with a message of commit the crime and do no time from George Soros-backed DAs, is it any shock that crime is out of control in the United States? Of course not. And the left's all cops are bastards message to young people, you see that graffiti everywhere, ACAB, that's put a target on the back of law enforcement. So what's the result? A dangerous shortage of police officers across America. And now, of course, crime is creeping into the suburbs. And one of the toniest malls outside of Washington, D.C., in Tyson's Corner, Virginia, yesterday, witnesses say gun and hammer-wielding suspects waltzed into a jewelry store, smashed glass cases, and ran out with the jewelry. A lot of Rolexes, apparently. These smash and grabs have become an epidemic across the nation.
Yo! The cops are on the way, man. The cops are on the way, man. It's cool. Hey, get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. I know.
Another real issue. The Democrats are actually making you poorer by the day. So your wages are lower now than they were a year ago because of the cost of living has gone up. So you may be working more than one job just to pay the bills. And inflation is eating away at your money, at your bottom line. So just this week, a Gallup poll revealed that a majority of Americans now say inflation is causing them personal hardship. But Democrats don't care. And of course, they never want you focused on the very real issue of the Biden foreign policy collapse. We're pouring billions of dollars into Ukraine. We're following Europe's lead on energy. And of course, we see they're in crisis mode right now. And do I even need to remind you about what happened in Afghanistan? Of course not. And we have zero China strategy, nothing that I can see. Democrats are just putting us on a path to subservience to President Xi and the CCP. Instead of us taking charge, we're begging them to talk to us.
My hope is that President Xi will recognize the benefit of getting both of us moving in the same direction. The world needs to see these two powerful countries actually working together. And there is no bigger threat, frankly, on the planet right now than the climate crisis.
Begging President Xi. Now, the choice isn't about choosing MAGA or anti-MAGA in November. What it's about is choosing truth or fiction, real or fake, common sense or woke fantasies. Democrats are guilty of almost every malevolent act and goal that they attribute to us. So every time the left tries to turn the conversation to candidates like Dr. Oz droning on about his home in New Jersey, or maybe they try to get you to focus on something controversial Blake Masters in Arizona posted years ago, just to understand what the Democrats are doing. Distraction. The choice is obvious. Either your lives are going to get better by electing Republicans, or your lives will continue to get worse by keeping Democrats in charge. You want to know how things will be here after an entire election where Democrats keep control? Well, look no further than to how California's doing. Remember, they had a chance to recall Gavin Newsom, the governor, but they didn't. And now, it's blackouts, crime, and more sanctuary policies for illegals. Oh, and don't forget, getting rid of gas-powered cars. So good luck getting to your 2 jobs and an electric car that you can't charge because of rolling blackouts. The left knows they can't debate populist conservatives on policy because we win a fair debate every time. So all they're left with is the politics of distortion, distraction, and demonization. They can raise money from plutocrats who don't want change, and then use their regime media foot soldiers to relentlessly enforce the narrative of their choosing. But we can appeal to real people on the real issues, and eventually, real stomps fake. And that's the angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.